I walked into my bedroom tonight, ready to unwind, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm officially creeped out. So here's what happened. I got home, took a shower around 7:30, threw on some sweats and a hoodie. By the way, this hoodie wasn't even from my dresser. It was hanging in my closet. Then I went to the kitchen, baked some brownies, and chilled with my dad and brother. We watched basketball until about 9:30. After that, I got ready for bed, the usual routine. But then, I walked into my room. I started taking my throw pillows off the bed, just minding my business, when I turned and looked over at my dresser. And every single drawer was wide open. Exactly like that. Just open. Now, I know some people might think, okay, what's the big deal? But here's the thing. I'm a super organized person, like borderline ritualistic about how I do things. After my shower, the most I would have opened, at most, were the top two drawers. Bras and underwear. There's zero reason for any of the other drawers to be open. But there they were, all of them, wide, open. At first, I thought maybe my dad or brother came into my room for something, but why would they? There's literally nothing in those drawers for them. And nothing was taken. Nothing was rummaged through. The drawers weren't messy, they were just open. I even considered my dog or cat, but they're both tiny. I mean, how would they even manage to do that? Then my mind went to darker places. An intruder. But the garage door was locked. All the windows locked. And it's a small house. If someone came in, we'd know. Plus, my dog would have barked like crazy. I even thought, what if it was an earthquake? Or maybe loud music from next door? But no, none of that explains this. And now, I'm just lying here, staring at my dresser, trying to make sense of it. My family's freaked out too. And honestly, I'm not scared of spirits as long as they're friendly. But this is something else. And I have no idea what to think anymore. When I was about 4 or 5 years old, I'd wake up at 5 or 6 a.m., completely terrified, shaking every single time. And I don't know why, but I'd always end up leaving my bedroom. Somehow I'd find myself in the kitchen. It was like something was pulling me there, something I couldn't explain. But the worst part? I used to see this shadow, a tall gray shadow of a man, just standing there, right by my parents' room, not moving, just there. I would freeze, completely paralyzed. My chest would feel heavy, like I couldn't even breathe. And I'd think to myself, what if it steps out of the wall? What if it comes for me? Eventually, I'd snap out of it and run, straight to my parents' room. I'd cry, like violently sob, because even after I escaped, the nightmares I'd had before waking up still felt so real. But the last time I saw it, it was worse. I woke up from another nightmare, only this time. When I looked, the shadow wasn't just standing there. It was holding a knife. Its hand was moving like it was ready to do something. I screamed so loud, I swear the whole house shook. I ran straight to my parents' room, faster than I've ever run in my life. But they didn't believe me. They told me it was nothing, just shadows from the balcony, light reflecting off the furniture outside. That's what they said. But I know what I saw, and even though I haven't seen it since, that fear, the fear of it coming back, it still haunts me every single night. It was a cold, rainy December day in 2023, my junior year of high school. The kind of day where the sky feels heavy and everything seems a little off. After lunch, I decided to stop by the restroom. I expected it to be packed with students, like it usually was during the lunch rush, but the second I walked in, I knew something was different. It was completely empty. At first, I didn't think much of it. I even felt a little relieved. Finally, some peace and quiet. I locked myself in a stall, taking my time. But then, it happened. As I was finishing up, I heard it. A voice. Software, almost a whisper. It came from right behind me. My whole body tensed. For a moment, I stood there, frozen. My brain raced. Someone must have snuck in, right? Maybe they were playing a prank. But then I remembered. The stall door was locked. Slowly, I turned around. My breath caught in my throat. There was no one there. The bathroom was still empty. I shook it off, telling myself I was imagining things. Maybe I was just tired or stressed. It had to be nothing. But as I stepped out of the stall, heading for the sink, I heard it again. This time it was different, clearer.
Help me.
It was desperate, almost pleading. I stopped dead in my tracks, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it would burst out of my chest. I spun around, my eyes scanning every corner of the bathroom. Still, nothing. No footsteps, no doors opening or closing. Just silence. Then, as I turned back to the mirror, I saw it. A shadow. A figure. Tall and dark, standing right behind me. My breath hitched. My hands gripped the edge of the sink so hard my knuckles turned white. I couldn't move. When I finally mustered the courage to turn around, it was gone. The bathroom was empty. Completely empty. I didn't think twice after that. I bolted out of there, barely remembering to wash my hands. I ran straight to class, my mind racing, trying to make sense of what just happened. I wanted to tell someone, but how do you even explain something like that? It was the only strange thing I ever experienced in all my years at that school, and nothing weird ever happened in that bathroom again. But even now, even years later, I can't shake the feeling that something was in there with me. Something watching. In 2020, I spent the night at my lifelong friend's house. It was one of those calm, quiet nights when the world feels just a little slower. We decided to sit on the balcony with a couple of beers, talking late into the night. The conversation drifted into deep territory, how Earth began, the mysteries of the afterlife, and how humans came to be. It wasn't your typical light-hearted banter. It was the kind of talk that makes you feel small and connected to something vast at the same time. We sat out there for hours, lost in thought and words. 2 weeks later, I found myself back at his place, in the exact same spot. Another quiet night, another round of beers. At first, it felt like déjà vu. The setting was identical. Same balcony, same view of the stars, and even the same faint hum of distant cars. As we started talking, I felt strange. Not scared, just this creeping sense that something wasn't right. I brushed it off, figuring it was just the beer or my imagination. But then, mid-conversation, it hit me. I stopped him mid-sentence and said, "Wait, bro, this is the exact same stuff you told me last time." He shrugged and said, "Yeah, maybe." At first, I thought nothing of it. Friends repeat stories all the time, right? But as we kept talking, something started to gnaw at me. I wasn't just hearing familiar stories. I knew exactly what he was going to say next. Word for word. It was as if I had seen this entire conversation play out before. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I stopped him again and said, "Dude, are you messing with me? Did we have this exact conversation 2 weeks ago?" He looked at me, confused. "I don't even remember what we talked about last time." That's when the chills hit. He wasn't lying, I could see it in his face. He was just as weirded out as I was. We sat there in silence for a while, staring out at the dark sky. Neither of us could explain what happened. Even now, I get chills just thinking about it. It wasn't just a simple coincidence, it felt bigger, like the universe had glitched, and for a brief moment we were stuck in a loop we weren't supposed to notice. I still don't know what it was. Déjà vu, a time slip, something else entirely. All I know is that night left both of us questioning reality itself.